All right. Now, again, we're going to take another look at this. And this is a repeated situation here that Derrick Henry is having to deal with. We got our 4 down linemen here. These are identified guys. We got our backers here. Again, you're running an outside zone play. And when I go and look at this, and we're going to go back a little bit here. When you look at this, the first step, he steps under himself. You're already behind the 8 ball. You step under yourself. You have to get this guy. He's faster than you. He's more athletic than you. You have to lead step forward. You have to launch yourself forward with this leg so that you don't step under yourself. It has to be a pushing off of that of this backside leg to push you into this alleyway here. This is where you want to be. You want to launch. You don't even need to even put a hand up. You can put a hand up for him, actually. You can put a hand up, but you should not be looking at him. You should not be looking to make really any real contact with him. But that arm up as presence as you launch through here will give him enough space to where he can get inside of this and either chop it down or get that backside arm under it and push him upfield and get him out this way. But you have to launch because you are on a racehorse to beat this guy to the spot. Because he doesn't have to be on time. You have to be early. And what you see here, he's late. He's already beat you. This left guard here, he's on the same angle, but he has a little bit different situation because he can run it by as he does. But this, being late and being in this position, well, that's damn near a death sentence for a running back. And you can see all he does here is create a bigger level of impact on Derrick Henry with trying to push that guy, which I really didn't understand where he was trying to push him to other than to make the tackle. Now here we got an example that I wanted to bring up here on this play as we look at our 4 down linemen. Now they're actually going to get a 5th man here. Number 9 is going to come in and he's in a rush as well here. I think this is Simmons. He's going to come in and he's in a rush here. Now, as I'm looking at this, I look and I say, he's on his toes. The center, he's being bull rushed, so it looks like he's taking a little bit of a hop here so he can regain his leverage and bend those knees. Taylor Lewan, he's got his hands into it, which is good. I feel like they're late. I feel like his legs, I feel like he's bending at the waist. I feel like his legs are straighter than they should be. There should be more bend there so he can get some leverage, so he can press off. I feel like this tackle here is actually doing a good job. He's helping here. This guy rushes. Maybe you didn't expect it. Maybe you did, but you have a little bit of time here. And I think he does a good job of actually adjusting to this and getting this rusher up the field a little bit. It wasn't clean as you want it to be, but he got it done. And that actually helped to keep the pocket from completely collapsing, because what we have here, when you look at this, a hand disengaged here, which means he didn't get a good punch with his set. His body's turned. He's being pushed straight back. He's getting bull rushed. He's trying to help him, but what he doesn't realize here is that he's actually helping this defensive tackle bull rush his center. And then we have here, I believe this is the running back who's just trying to come in here and get something done in regards to, chipping on his way out. But that's a collapsing pocket. Now, it was a good throw. And that's to Ryan Tannehill's credit. He stood in there and he made throws and he took shots. But you never want him to have to take shots if you can help it as an offensive lineman. And look, it's not easy. It ain't easy. But you're getting paid money to get it done, and you're getting paid well. So as an offensive line, you got to find a way to improve from this kind of performance for the Tennessee Titans going into week 2. Now, let's take a look here. Now, this one, again, a lot of leakiness from the offensive line, a lot of leakiness, a lot of things that are kind of fundamental in how you approach blocking as an O-line. First thing I will say here for Taylor Lewan, and man, I don't understand what he's thinking here, but this is not a 3-step drop. This is not a quick pass. You're not going to cut a guy in a shotgun formation unless it's a 3-step drop and he's throwing a quick route. This is this is not the right approach to take here. Pass set this guy, get your hands on him, lock him down. Right here, we got the guard in the left. We got the left guard in the center. They've got the depth of the pocket here set pretty well. Now, right here, we've got a TE here where this defensive tackle's actually penetrating through, and this defensive end is coming around. And these guys do not pass this off well. They're not on the same level. There's a lot of space in between. Look at this huge gap. This is going to be a problem. But like I said, back here on this side with Taylor Lewan, this is not the right approach for this. This is not the right approach. You don't want to cut this guy here. You want to stay on your feet. You want to block him. Now, this is going to be split. This is going to be a pressure on the quarterback here. This looper pretty much gets a free run at it. Our guard is trying to save it. He's trying to block everybody. But when you try and block everything, you sometimes end up blocking nothing. And the bad part about this here is because of that cut attempt, you have a free run on the quarterback, a vicious hit. That is not the kind of hit you want to allow your quarterback to take as an offensive lineman, especially when it comes to when it's a result of you not using the proper technique and handling the situation. I personally think when you have a drop back passer, or when you're in a situation where you're in shotgun and it's not going to be a quick throw, for the situation that he's been in this entire game, I think that this was a reaction to some of that pressure personally with Taylor Lewan. I think he wanted to try and change it up, but when you're cutting, that's not the way you cut. You want to actually sort of bear crawl into that cut to go through the knees of that defender. He jumped at his ankles. It looked lazy. It looked lackadaisical. I didn't like it very much. But again, when you're having a game like that, like he had, sometimes you try anything and it just didn't work. Now here, again, this is a protection that actually is not terrible for most of the offensive line here with Tennessee, except for Taylor Lewan and how he decides to approach this. Now, our tackles, both of them, in my opinion, are late with their hands, but we have a pocket here. We have a depth of the pocket set. These guys are holding their blocks here, and our tackle actually does tighten it up here and get his hands inside, and he has leverage, and he's got good position. But here, with Taylor Lewan, we see a different picture. We see his hands over the top of Chandler Jones. We see his Chandler Jones' hands in his chest. We see him giving ground. At this point, he's being bull rushed. His number one thing should be to nullify this bull rush. Now, how is he going to do that? Now, if he's a player who understands what techniques work to stop what kinds of rushes, he would immediately karate chop the shit out of Chandler Jones's elbow from the top to fold his arm down so that he can get some relief from that bull rush. And then he would take a small hop back with both his feet, and he would bend those knees and sit down after that hop to then stand him up and move his momentum vertically so that he doesn't have any more power to push you backwards. That is the proper way to handle a bull rush. You get the hands down or you sit under it and lift it vertically. And he is absolutely manhandled back into the quarterback. Ryan Tannehill this guy has got some balls of steel because he stands in here. This is not how you want to look as an offensive tackle, as a left tackle in the NFL. It's not how you want to look. But I will say this, he changed his attitude here. He turns, he knows what's happened, and he goes to help his QB up, and that's the way it should be. So even when I call it out when he didn't do that, I will call it when he does it to show that, hey, I'm not just calling it one way, dude. You do it the right way, I'm definitely going to show you some love on that. And that's what he did there, even though it was a pretty porous pass protection that he gave for Ryan Tannehill there. Now here, I look at this, and I say, first off, right guard, he's catching it a little bit. He's catching it, but you know what? I've played against this guy many times. J.J. Watt is a big guy. He is a heavy guy. So I can understand where there's a little catch there, but what's key is that while he's catching, he sits down. Look at the knees bend. Look at the arch in the back. He's sitting under it, and we have a pocket here. We have a good pocket here. Now, this is better, but I still don't like his legs. I don't know what he is being coached up in terms of how he positions himself in his lower half, but he should look a little bit more like this. There's knee bend here. There's hand placement. He's got his hands high, but he struck this defender, and he's sitting on it, so he's giving himself a chance. Your arms can't do it by themselves. Your arms can't do it by themselves. You got to get some bend in those knees. You got to get some separation between you and this guy, however you can. You have to fight this motherfucker because he is owning you. He is owning you. You have to fight him. And, the rest of the line here looks solid. You've got help here again. That's where, I say to myself, does he not understand that he has some help here? Look at your guard. Your guard is looking to help. You can overset and be more aggressive here to force him inside so that your help can come in and knock him out. That's what they're there for. And he just doesn't do it here. But, overall, it was a good pocket. They had a good pocket, and it was solid protection. Next up. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier in terms of passing, being on the same level when it comes to dealing with these stunts in games. And you're going to see this here in this pass set from our interior 3. We get a TT here where both the tackle and both defensive tackles are going to cross. One's going to be a penetrator, one's going to be a looper. And our offensive interior here handles it very well. Everyone's on the same level. They're keeping the defender off of one another, passing him into the center, and then taking over on Watt. This tackle here, hey, he's loving life. It's going to take him forever to get over here. I don't know what this defender's doing. He should be trying to rush to the inside of this to give himself the least amount of space to have to deal with. He's got to run 10 yards almost just to get back into the play. And right here, this is a little bit better. He's got a little bit better knee bend here. He's got some extension there. Now, again, you're going up against a guy who is expertly skilled at using his hands. He has a grab on Taylor Lewan's wrist right here. That is one of the hardest things to adjust to as an offensive lineman is when you get your wrists grabbed after you've struck an opponent. And what you have to do here is you have to either push that arm up and rip that hand away and then replace it, or you yank it down, which is harder and usually less successful, but you have to do what you got to do to get that hand free so that you can get your hand. Your other hand needs to be replaced inside. Both his hands are just bad here. He fired his hands, but he didn't fire them into this guy's chest. He didn't fire him with any kind of velocity. And now Chandler Jones gets a grab on those wrists and he makes it harder for him. On top of that, he turns a bit here. But one thing I will give Taylor credit for in this is that he saves this block by getting himself positioned to run him a little bit upfield, because Ryan Tannehill does not see this, so he's not stepping up. But the fact that he has a pocket to work from, it allows him to at least feel comfortable enough to get this off, and he keeps him off of him, which is at the end of the day what you're trying to do. Sometimes it's not going to always be pretty, but you get the job done, and he did so there. So I give him credit for getting that done there. Now, again, we got another run play here. I think this was the best run they had of the day. This was the best run that they had. This was picked up and executed pretty much flawlessly. Technique can always be cleaned up a little bit here. Again, this was the most important block on this play, and it's a different angle that he takes here. He gets a little bit flatter this time. He gets a little bit flatter, and it allows him to get in front. This linebacker actually takes a misstep up into the line of scrimmage, which allows him to get in front side of him in this run block. Now, with all that being said, Taylor Lewan, he's late. He's late getting off the ball. He's behind this, but he does a good job of pushing this shoulder through and getting up to his backer. So right here, the one thing that I can definitely compliment for this Tennessee O-line here is that you got a hat on 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 a hat. And what does that leave? This is what made them so dangerous as a running team over the past few years, is that they get a hat on a hat and it becomes a one-on-one matchup between the best running back or one of the best running backs in the NFL and the safety. And this is the matchup you want. This is where you look and see this guy pick up the yards that he gets chunks of throughout the course of the season. So with all of that being said, that's my breakdown. First breakdown of the year of the NFL season, week 1, Tennessee Titans versus the Arizona Cardinals. Again, I feel like this was a game where the Cardinals just had a much more physical approach. They actually attacked Tennessee. The one thing that can create a lot of problems for an offensive line in the run game or in the pass game is movement. When you have defenses that are well synced and being able to run stunts, games, blitzes, dog blitzes, these are things that to be a great offense, you have to be able to pick these things up. A great offense actually wants a defense to blitz them, wants a defense to run stunts, because while they can be destructive if you don't block them right, if you pick these stunts and pick up blitzes correctly, it leaves gaping holes in the defense that you can exploit for major yardage throughout the course of the game. But I hope you guys did enjoy this O-line breakdown. I am your observant lineman. Make sure you hit that like button if you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I appreciate you guys for coming in and checking out my first breakdown of the NFL season, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.